Uh, Jack, just bring us up to speed with the mood and the feeling around the place at the moment.
All good, yeah. Obviously, had a couple of weeks after the Plymouth game back on the training pitch, which I think was important for us. Obviously, we had a big game at Lincoln, so all our focus on that. And I think performance-wise, there was definitely aspects of that were much better than they have been in previous weeks. We didn't create enough chances, that's a fact. So we got to get better in that department, not just the forward players. That's us as a whole, as a team, attack and defend, and attack as a team and defend as a team. But it's definitely positive to take. So we'll learn from the little bits that we can do to improve, and hopefully implement then on Saturday against Forest Green.
Do you feel you're improving personally?
I think so. Yeah, I think I touched on it after the Portsmouth game. I wasn't overly happy with how I'd started the season and taken longer than I would have liked to get up to speed with the way we play. Obviously, coming from very different Gillingham team, but I think since then, obviously there's still been little blips here and there. But I think in general my performances have been much better, more consistent. I'm starting to feel like I can be a reliable figure back in the back four for us.
Nobody knows the situation with Warren O'Hora at the moment, but think things could be difficult if Warren is out long term. Who's been such a mainstay, an integral part of the defence. That you might have to pick up some slack when Warren's not around, Jack.
Yeah, I think everyone knows with Woz, everyone who's been here for a couple of years and everyone who hasn't, like he's just Mr. Reliable, isn't he? Know what you're getting from him every single week, which is obviously a great trait to have as a centre half. You don't want your centre half to be thinking, what's he going to do next? You want that reliableness every week in, week out, so you know you can trust him. And he's been brilliant at that. So it's obviously unfortunate that he did pick up that injury. Hopefully it's not as long as it might have looked at first, but we don't know yet. So we can only hope that that's good news and he's back as soon as possible to help us out.
And just in the whole, from a defensive perspective, 3 clean sheets in the last 5 games. That's exactly what you want to see.
For sure, yeah. We didn't keep anywhere near enough at the start of the season, and we're not where we need to be just yet defensively. There's still plenty of improvement to be doing individually and collectively. But like you said, 3 and 5 isn't a bad return at all. So if we can keep that sort of record up between now and the end of the season, it will give us every chance to win a lot of games.
And from the perspective of this weekend, I mean, it really is a 6 pointer. It's one of those, with the team 2 places below you, both in the bottom four. An opportunity for them, obviously, to catch MK Dons a little bit, and an opportunity for MK Dons to push away from the bottom. So it's a big match against Forest Green.
It is a big one, yeah. Yeah, obviously, when you see two teams down in that sort of area, it's obviously going to be a big game, and made out to be bigger than it probably should do sometimes. But ultimately, we're in January still, so there's a lot of games left. But obviously, us being where we are and them being where they are, obviously it does feel bigger. But ultimately, we look at it as an opportunity to win the game, and ultimately, if we do, we might get ourselves out the bottom four. So that's all we're aiming for. That'd be the same whether we're playing Forest Green or anyone else up the table. So it's an opportunity for us, and we've got a big week, 3 games next week. So we'll look to get 9 points if possible, and that will definitely put us in good stead.
Good start. Cheers, Jack. Nice one.
Cheers, mate.
Is it much of a difference, Jack, playing in a back four as opposed to what it was, either a 5 or a 3, depending on, I suppose, how you looked at it?
Uh, there's differences, obviously. Naturally, where you've got that one less centre half, there's probably less cover sometimes where you've obviously only got one centre half next to you as opposed to two. But a lot of the principles stay the same, really. In possession, we're much the same. Sort of doesn't change too much. Obviously, we want to be a team that keeps the ball and controls the game that way. So that doesn't change too much. But obviously, yeah, there's little tweaks that you have to make here and there in a 4 and a 5. But it's just about adjusting to it. Things change all the time in football, formations, personnel. So it's just another thing. So it's no problem.
You mentioned it there, 3 massive, massive games coming up. January, not just about the transfer window, obviously, but about what you can do on the pitch, and putting together a little run could start to see you edge away from the danger.
Definitely, yeah. We're at the stage of the season now where a good run at this stage and you could end up finishing nowhere near the bottom four, and then everyone's like, oh, what's the panic for? Obviously, hopefully that'll be the case for us, and we'd love to be up much higher at the end of the season, but we've got to take it game by game. We know it's obviously a big week, three opportunities to win games, so that's all we're looking at as 2 games at home, I think it is, isn't it? So we'll look to definitely get 3 points on Saturday, hopefully, and then that'll give us a lot of confidence coming into the 2 games here at Stadium MK.
Does beating them on Boxing Day give you that little bit of extra confidence as well, knowing full well that you've got it in you to see off Forest Green?
Yeah, I think it's obviously nice knowing that you have beaten them before, so you feel like obviously it's achievable, but I guess you can beat anyone in this league, so that doesn't really play too much into our thoughts. But knowing that we've already got one over on them gives you that little edge going into it, thinking, yeah, we'll do it again. But yeah, like I've said before, it's just another game and another opportunity.